One, two, three.
Are you ready? Well, here we go.
I'm Lisa Mitzel, and this is Condition to Win. Hey, friends, this is the 6th episode of Condition to Win, and welcome back if you have been here before. My name is Lisa Mitzel, and I am your host. And I'm really happy to talk about this particular topic called Issues in Changing Gyms, because I've been in the sport for many, many years, and I've heard all kinds of stories on both sides, the side of the gym and the coaches, and also the side of the families. And I know that there can be a lot of difficult feelings. And for those of you who may not be as familiar in the gymnastics world, changing to another gymnastics club can feel difficult sometimes. Maybe this goes for many different kinds of sports, but we often, as human beings, we get attached. Sometimes we get attached to a certain team or a coach, or the coaches get attached to the kids, and there can be a lot of emotions. Sometimes it even feels like a sense of loyalty, or maybe even the coach feels that the kids and the family should be loyal. And so there are many different feelings when you are changing gyms. And I think it's worth talking about because in youth mental health, we recognize that kids experience various levels of emotions. They feel devastated, they feel a sense of trauma. And I think that changing gyms is something that can actually qualify as a traumatic event in their young life. It's something that brings up feelings of vulnerability and a sense of loss and even fear of who am I if I'm not with that team? Or it could be fear of the future. Will this new gym and new team be everything that I need? Let's take a deep breath to get settled and open our minds and hearts and feel more peaceful. Ready? One, two, three. Inhale and exhale. Very nice. So I want to get into this a little bit. I want to leave us with some thoughts and maybe even some questions and ask ourselves, how are we honoring the children the most? And what are we teaching the kids in every situation? I recently talked to a parent and she was very confused about how to handle leaving a gym. Why would a parent feel that it is so hard to leave a gym? Well, let's look at this. It starts when kids want to do gymnastics and you join a club. And I know that most gyms work really hard to create a family atmosphere, and they really do welcome the community. They welcome parents and kids, and they want it to be a fulfilling experience for everyone. And it's really a wonderful service. On the other hand, what happens is they start out with the classes and in the recreation program, and the parents drop them off, and the kids have fun, and kids get attached. They get attached to their coaches and their friends. And it can be hard when some of them move up to the team because not all the kids make it. And so sometimes they leave friends behind. And that may be one of the first experiences that kids feel, kind of a sudden or abrupt disruption, that they lose friends or they're not with their friends any longer. And that is an opportunity. That's an opportunity for us to teach them that change is part of life, and that if we want to stay connected, there's other ways that we can stay connected with our friends, and that newness always comes. So that's one of the first things that I just want to kind of put a marker on, is that change always happens. Nothing is permanent. And that is always an opportunity to look for newness in our life and look for the good, and that we can always stay in touch with our friends. The things that happen when a child gets on a team is that there are usually stricter rules when you're on a team compared to recreation. And the assignments get harder. They're learning harder skills. They start to feel more nervous and afraid. There's higher standards in terms of performance, and the training hours are often longer. Everything increases, the intensity increases, especially as these team kids prepare for competition and they travel and they get to go different places. That is such a wonderful time for the kids to do this together. And it creates such a strong bond for the team members and often for the kids and the coaches together. And it suddenly feels more like a family. And the kids start to feel that their identity is not just being a gymnast, but their identity strongly connects to their team. So that is something that we just want to be aware of, is how attached the kids become. And one of the questions that I have for parents is, what are you conscious of when your children are getting so heavily involved in gymnastics? What are you considering as you think of ways to balance their lives and have them involved in other kinds of activities and being with other people? Because gymnastics can easily swallow you up. And when I was a gymnast, I changed clubs one time, and I recognized that I was sad when I changed clubs, but I had a very good relationship with my first coach and my first team. Other kids had left, and the club was actually getting ready to fold. They were not doing well financially. And so my mother went to the gym and she had a personal conversation with the coach. And my guess is, and this is from a child's perspective in one way, but also my adult view, is that my mother wanted to express a lot of gratitude. And I think that she probably felt a sense of loyalty in one way, but then she also felt very strong that my gymnastics career was only going to get better if we chose another place. And she did find out that the club was closing. So maybe that helped. Today, I am thinking a lot about the families and the kids that I work with and people that reach out to me, whether it's through social media or on email. And I hear all the different feelings of the parents and the kids when they are thinking of leaving a club. And this is what I want to go through, is how to take those steps where you are really honoring yourself and honoring your child, and also showing and expressing some kind of gratitude. I had a recent conversation with a parent who reached out to me, and she asked me if I could give her some advice in a difficult situation. This is where some parents may also feel emotionally attached to a gym or a coach. For some number of years, they know the parents and the kids and the coaches, and it is difficult when you feel that sense of loyalty. And there's nothing wrong with that. What I would say is just notice if you feel attached, notice if you feel that loyalty, because what we really want to do is look at it from the child's view, what's important to them, what their needs are, and also that every gymnastics club is a business. And what we want to do is say, thank you for your services. Thank you for caring for my child. Thank you for coaching and teaching my child and getting them to this level. What is important to recognize is that children live in the world of adults and that they do not get to make the big decisions. And in many ways, they have no control. So they can feel helpless, they can feel very vulnerable and even afraid. The greatest gift that we can give to them is to consider their thoughts and feelings and to go very slowly and to ask them how they feel and ask them what they want. And then make a decision based on what is the healthiest for them and also what will be best for their gymnastics career. I always put mental health first. So, in my conversation with the mother who reached out to me, it was a difficult situation. They had been at the gym for a number of years. Her daughter was a mid level optional gymnast. And over the last year, her daughter had been feeling more and more tense and afraid and just sad, just really unhappy. The head coach was very strict and had a lot of anger and emotions, and the girls were often intimidated. And even some of the girls who were treated, quote unquote, nicely, they felt scared for their friends. This is where parents can feel tense and nervous and confused, and maybe even feel attached to the gym in terms of loyalty and not wanting to hurt the gym or harm the gym's reputation in any way. And I understand that. What I think is more important is your child's mental health and wellness, and that we need to focus on the child. Our sponsor for today's show is Zen Tiger Mind, a human-centered company providing mental training and mental health products and curriculum for child development programs and to help your athlete perform better. The word of the day is grief. Grief is the emotion that accompanies loss. When a child experiences deep sadness, it is easier and often helpful to talk about it. If your child is experiencing any signs of grief, especially in relation to a loss or moving to a new gym, and you feel that you need some support, make sure that you get some tips and advice from your mental health provider. Thank you. When I was speaking to the mother, I also expressed to her that her fear was related to her conversations with the owner and the coach and through her relationship as an adult. What she might consider is that her daughter really had a different relationship where she was trying to please the coach and follow the coach's instructions and train very hard. And yet she became very afraid of the coach reacting. She became afraid for her teammates, and she didn't want to feel that any longer. This mother ended up crying a little bit because she hadn't thought of it that way and looking at it through her daughter's point of view. And I think that that is lovely, that we can all sit back and just think, how has my daughter been feeling? What has it been like for her? And that way we can make a decision that feels very thoughtful and important in terms of our child and their well-being. What happens to these kids is when they are in a gym where there is a coach who tends to be verbally and emotionally hurtful and even abusive, is that all the kids are affected. So, in these situations, it's very important that we consider the trauma that our kids are experiencing and that we want to remove them and step up and take care of the situation in a very kind and gracious manner. So I asked the mother, what would she like to do in terms of communicating with the coach and the owner so that she, as a parent, is also protecting herself. One of the things she shared with me is that she was very afraid to talk with him in person because she was afraid that he would blow up and that it would be a very scary situation. And she shared with me that just recently the coach had gotten very, very angry with another gymnast and a parent, and that it scared all the girls. So the parent even said she was afraid. So I asked her, how would you like to communicate in a way that you feel that you can protect yourself, but also honor the coach and the gym for the service that they had provided? And she said that she would like to write a letter. And I thought that was the best idea as well. That way she could take her time, be very calm and clear-minded, and think through her words and communicate in a business manner. And it turned out to be very, very helpful. I mean, there are times when a certain gym or a coach is not considering the child's mental health and is not considering their mental emotional well-being. And these types of situations can be very tough and hard, and it can be scary not only for the kids, but also the parents. After our conversation, the mother wrote me an email and she said that she felt so much better. She felt lighter, she had clear thoughts, and she felt much better about this process of moving her daughter to a different gym. So, if you are considering moving to a new gym, I would only suggest that you have somebody else give you some feedback if you are going through a situation like this or you have any reservations whatsoever. It's really hard when you feel alone. Parents need support just as much as the kids. Parents need somebody to help them think clearly when their emotions get caught up, especially if you're feeling afraid of any kind of retribution from the gym. If you're feeling afraid that your daughter's reputation might get ruined by going to a different gym, just recognize that you're making a decision out of fear, that you may be making a decision when you're feeling nervous. What is better for your child and for yourself is when you feel very clear on what is the healthiest choice for your daughter, what is the healthiest and most positive environment for your daughter. When you are clear on that, then it makes the decision much easier. My biggest hope is that together we are all gradually changing the culture of gymnastics and all sports for youth mental health so that parents and kids have the resources to get support and the help that they need, whether that's in physical therapy, sports nutrition, mental training, mental health. All of these things are so important that we all work together as a community and that kids and parents feel supported. So I want to say a big thank you to all of the parents out there who are putting their children's mental health first. You are role models, you are inspiring, and you are very, very brave. Also, I want to express my gratitude to all the gyms out there who are not controlling the parents and the kids, but you are open to all kinds of positive resources, and you even make suggestions and offer support when the kids are struggling. I am so glad that I get to talk about this. I'm sending all of you my positive thoughts. Thank you so much for listening. Well, that's the show. I'm Lisa Mitzel. I'm honored you chose to listen in. Check the show notes for information. Share your thoughts in the comments. Give us a positive rating if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe. Okay, my friends, this is your journey to grow and learn and guide yourself to your own transformation. I am sending you good vibes, deep breaths, and peace.